Hey, everybody. Pink Floyd, a Spaniard, and honing modalities. You better run, run, run. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back to Barber Dave's Barbershop at Home. We'd like to wish all the moms out there a very special happy Mother's Day. You guys are the ones that put up with this crazy habit that we do. But before we get started, a couple things. Don't forget to come visit us at www.theshavingcadre.com. We feel that we're the finest gentlemanly forum on the interwebs. So come see us. We talk more than just shaving, a little bit of everything. And then if you like what you see, please, we're at 983. We're getting there, getting close to 1,000. There'll be a special announcement at 1,000. Click on the barber pole with the cowboy hat. That'll get you subscribed to the channel, and we'd certainly appreciate that. And then, of course, comment, like, and everything else. But before we go any further, today's shave is brought to you by Nurse Dave's Shaving World, the biggest mother in San Francisco. You can bet on it. No, just kidding. Dave is my good buddy. I love him to death. And I was very proud of him yesterday. He actually did a pseudo straight razor shave, and he did pretty good. So what are we shaving with today? Well, this is obvious. If those of you that know me know that I am probably one of the biggest Pink Floyd fans in the world, and next to a certain individual that's sitting right out there. And arguably, controversy, arguably one of the best, if not the best band that's ever existed in the entire universe. So much so that, if you can see that, I even adorned myself because of them. So, the good folks over at A&E and Peter, I've got to thank you for this, because finally somebody made a Pink Floyd soap that's worthy of Pink Floyd, and that's right, which one's pink? There's no real way to describe this scent other than Put On Wish You Were Here, or The Great Gig, actually The Great Gig in the Sky, and or any of the Wall songs, and that's what this is like. This is perfectly Pink Floyd. For the brush today, we're going to be using the Matt DeRuiter Purple Neon, but we've renamed this the Pink Floyd brush, and it's got an AMAX synthetic on it. We'll go over all the other happy stuff later. But as I said in the intro, one of our new members over at the TSC and a subscriber here on the channel, Bowtie RN, is starting his straight razor journey, and he's been using some of my tutorials to help him get started, and he's creating his own method. But he had asked me about whether or not it's a good idea to start refreshing and honing. And this is a tough one. This is going to be a little bit longer of a video, so please sit back and enjoy. This is a tough one because the standard rule of thumb is until you can get a fairly good technique down with your straight razor shaving, it's always been recommended that you have two straight razors. One that you shave with when it needs to get rehoned, you send it out, get it rehoned, and then you have another razor to use while you're waiting for the other one. I'm on the fence on that because I was watching Bowtie's video, and his technique is very, very solid. So I think it depends on you. There's no set rule or modality to whether or when you start honing. I recommend that everybody hone so you can get the edge you want. However, that doesn't mean that you go out and trade edges and stuff like that. So today we're going to talk about what I have used. Now, in honing straight razors, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of ways to hone a razor. Now, just as much as honing a razor, there are literally a ton of ways to get to that point. We're just going to talk about a few in regard to being a newbie, getting that and trying to, because you can ask some of my buddies like Matt, Japanese stones are great, but they can set you back a ton of money. So what do you want to do when you first start? Because you don't know whether you're going to enjoy honing or not. If you don't enjoy honing and you drop a couple of $100 on stones, then you have basically really, really cool looking paperweights, and you don't want that. So throughout the video today, as we talk about this, and I'll be shaving during this, you're going to see pictures of various honing modalities. And basically, it falls into two categories, in my opinion. You either have flat-based honing, which we'll get into, and then you have convex, or what's been now known as super curve honing, which is really the original. Very controversial subject, and it is something that is new to me as well, but I'm finding that it's pretty cool. So anyways, but each one of you, it's your own shave. You hone, you sharpen, you shave the way you want to do. All we can do is kind of give you bullet points on your journey. So we'll get into that, and like I said, there'll be pictures of the different honing modalities as we go forward, starting from what I feel is the best beginner way to start honing, and then moving on to a relatively, and I say that in point, a relatively inexpensive way to get honing that provides quick, fast results. Now, I will tell everybody right now, before I get the comments, I'm not going to be mentioning the Naniwa stones or Japanese stones because I have never used them. So there's no point in me trying to tell you how to hone on a certain modality if I've never used it. So what we're going to be talking about today is lapping film, Shapton glass stones, cauticule, and both black and transarc finishes. And we're also going to be talking about convex honing. Now, I do not have any of the stones to convex hone. However, I've taken flat honing from the cauticule and actually used a treated balsa strop, a super curve balsa strop, and a super curve bench leather strop. And I'm finding that that's a great combination, although I do want to blend into other modalities, because I have found, for me, what gives me the best, softest, and most comfortable edge is a cauticule, what they call a dilucat method, which you just keep diluting the swarf as you go along, and then finish with a dilu-arc method where you do the same thing. You just keep refining and refining, and that's what works best for me. But then I took it to the balsa strop treated, and then the balsa bench leather strop, and it works great. So, and that's what I did with the razor that we're working with today. And this was my first filling, and I have not done anything with it. This is a Philharmonica 14. Now, this is one of the Medion versions, and there was 4 or 5 of these. And if you can see it, I need to restore this, but these are the original scales and the original pink mother of pearl wedge, hence Pink Floyd, matchy matchy. And this is Sevillana. And we're going to try to get her back into, she was a flamenco dancer, and we're going to try to get her back into good shape. I've got to re-wet the lather real quick. Now, this is the first time I've used this razor after taking it across the balsa strop and the leather super curve strop. And so we'll see how that goes. This was honed on a cauticule with a transarc finish. So let's see how that goes. So when we're talking about honing, well, that's nice. You are basically creating an edge that works for your face. Now, there are a ton of fantastic honers out there. Just to name a few, I mean, one of the old standards is Alfredo, Doc 226. You have Matt, Lukey 3262. And then on the super curve side, you have Bill M., who is a hobbyist at our forum. But at the same time, there's no reason why you cannot get the edge you want by doing it yourself. So what's the best way to get started? Well, this is a controversial subject, but if you want to get into it for $12, now I'm going to show a picture right now. I'll be talking through that, but the picture you're looking at right now is a couple of types of lapping film. You can get it on Amazon, and they've got different grits and so forth. So you basically, what I did, because that's how I started honing, because I never wanted to hone. I thought it was going to be a big pain in the butt. And so I would send my stuff out to Doc 226. And although I've shaved with razors honed by other people, I found that it's nice when you can say, hey, I shaved with my own edge. So the lapping film basically the easiest thing that I did is I went down to Home Depot and bought a bullnose tile, the same, I think it was 3 by 12, and made sure it was smooth, completely smooth. I think I used marble, but you can do it with glass if you can get somebody to cut the glass for you. And then basically you take the lapping film, wet it on one side, and the natural adhesion of the lapping film will make it stick to that glass or that tile, and go to town honing. And you can go through your progression. Very easy way to get started to see if you like it. Now, like I said, I'm not going to go into the details of how to do it. That's something for another video, which I may do if people request it, because I don't have any lapping film anymore. I'd have to get it. But and then you just go through the progressions, peel the lapping film off, wet it, put it on the stone again, and then just go through your progressions until you get an edge, do some good stropping, and you're ready to rock and roll. Now, that is considered a flat method of honing. Works great, 11 bucks, 12 bucks, 13 bucks, and you can see whether you're going to enjoy it. I think that's a very, very smart way to get started into the world of honing. Now, as I mentioned, as you get more and more into honing, there are tons of modalities. Synthetic stones like the Naniwa. Like I said, I'm not going to mention those because I've never used them. Japanese stones. It's amazing what's out there in honing, and you need to just find what works for you. And then what's funny is the most recent, and actually the most controversial, is called convex or supercurve honing. Yet, if you go back in history, it was what really started it all. So, and I have not honed that way. However, I have stropped that way. And I'm telling you, based on just the stropping alone, and not only that, but at our last TSC convention, Bill did a kind of a live tutorial, and it's very interesting. It's a little bit more intricate. There's a little bit more things you have to do, but the ultimate edges are fantastic. So we're not going to talk a lot about that other than a picture that I'm going to show when we get to that point. Okay, so pass one, it was great, and we talked about lapping film. So let's talk about, and there'll be some stuttering here because I don't want to talk when I got this beast in my neck. So let's talk about Shapton glass stones. Shaptons, if you get them all, and I'll show pictures of those all here, and the stone holder, because you will need a stone holder. Well, I guess you don't need one, but it certainly makes things a lot different. And then if you're going to go crazy like I did, you get the lapping pool. Yes, it's a pool that you have your water or your solution in. And you don't destroy your countertops or the kitchen. And that way, for Mother's Day, your wife doesn't complain and say, what the hell are you doing making a mess? So, but if you do all that, you get all the stones, you get the lapping pool, you get the holder specifically for that. You're going to be out a couple $100 minimum. Now, a lot of people, ooh, that was close. A lot of people will try to, set the bevel, and we're not going to talk about setting bevel. We're just talking about honing modalities right now. But they'll set the bevel on a 1,000, then go 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, and maybe 10,000. Or if you're crazy like me, if you're going to do it, if you're going to jump in the pool, jump in the deep end. So I bought everything from 800 all the way through 60,000. And it provided a great edge, but it was still a bit harsh for me. Plus the fact of changing the hones and going back and forth. So that's your Shapton glass stones. And like I said, these are ones that I have experience with. Hold that thought. I honed with those for years and was completely happy. But then one of my business partners and soap maker extraordinaire had sent me a cauticule, and you'll see a picture of that here in a minute. I can't find my arc, so I would put a picture there. I don't know where I put it. But anyway, he sent me a cauticule, and I looked at it, and I said, this thing's rough. It's got rubies in it, all this other kind of stuff. And I had seen people talk about the Dillicott method, where you actually create a thick swarf to set the bevel, so you're not looking at a beveling stone. Then you clean it off, create another softer swarf, and then you just add a little bit of water and progress through what they call the dilution of the cauticule until you get to just water, and you're not and you're not getting that black silvery swarf. And then all of a sudden you clean that off, and then you put running water, and then you continue until the blade sticks. And that's traditionally where the blade meets the cauticule, and you can't get any better than that. Unless you then take it to either a translucent Arkansas or a black Arkansas and finish it off that way. As you can see in the picture, then you basically I used Smith's honing solution, or you can use water, or you can use soapy water, whatever you prefer. And do the same thing until it sticks. And I have found that that is the best edge for me, because the Shaptons, although extremely sharp, and the lapping film scary sharp, they were almost too sharp. And what I mean by that is they were harsh on the skin for me. Now, for some people, that's fine. So I at first thought the cauticule method was going to be goofy. But once I tried it, I loved it. It's a one stone method, basically, unless you finish on an Arkansas. Finding the Belgian cauticule is good. I was lucky that Chris Lindsay, like I said, my business partner and soap maker extraordinaire, sent me one, and I've been using that ever since. Everything else is collected dust until I learned about convex honing. Now, I had heard about convex honing, obviously being a master barber. That's the way it was. But I'd never seen anybody do it in practice. And coming from another forum before we started this, the straight razor section was the wild, wild west. And what I mean by that is, if you were not a flat honer and you said anything about convex honing, Katie barred the door. You were going to get attacked. And unfortunately, Bill M was attacked, and hence the reason why he came over to see us, because we do not do that. So although I have not shaved with a completely super curve or convex honed edge, in other words, from start to finish, from bevel set through, I have taken most of my cauticule arc edges, and started using the balsa strop and the leather convex strop to kind of create somewhat of a concave edge, or somewhat of a super curve edge. And I'm using it right now as a refresher. I've still got to get Bill. I've still got to get Bill a razor to hone. And we've been laughing about why it's taken so long. But anyways, it works out really well, and I'm really leaning that direction. But if I get one completely honed via super curve and then just keep it maintained on the balsa strop and the balsa leather strop, then I might be fine. And I don't know whether I want to re-hone all my razors to do that, because I found that right now, flat hosing on a cauticule, finishing on a black or a translucent Arkansas, but using the balsa strop and the leather convex strop every day has just made these edges brighten up and still maintain a softness to them. So, and those pictures I've shown throughout there. So that's kind of, you know, I'm not going to say anything while I'm doing my cleanup. So those are the modalities that I would recommend. As somebody who's been honing razors for a long time, to start off as a beginner. Because you may find that although you enjoy shaving with a straight razor, the maintenance that goes along with it may not be your game. Although I will argue, there are people out there that says, oh, you need to do this, and they get all scientific, and you have to do this, and you have to look through this, and you have to... Horse hockey. Once you set the bevel, and the bevel is in good shape, again, depending on the softness of the steel and what kind of steel you're using, you should never have to, asterisk, you should never have to reset the bevel unless you're uncomfortable or if you're going to change honing modalities. And then at that point, it just becomes maintenance, you know? And so for me, I've got all the razors I have. I've got one that's factory sharpened, and that's the one I'm probably going to send to be super curved home as the test bed. But other than that, it's just maintenance. And for me, maintenance is now become, I used to, you know, take it across the translucent or the black arc for maintenance. But now it is literally taking it across the treated balsa strop and the regular bench strop. And that's it. And I actually use the bench strop at the shop now too. And so, you know, so I hope that you know, explains what Bowtie RN was asking. For those of you new into honing, don't spend a lot of money in the beginning. Try lapping film if you like it. Yeah, you're going to want to move on. Although there are straight razor users out there that's all they use is lapping foam. So find the modality that works for you. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, this is what you need to do. This is what you have to do. Do what fits you in your face. So I hope that helped. Okay, so we're finished with our shave. I have to give props to whoever honed this Philly 14. Oh, that's right. It was me. No, I'm kidding. But I have to give props to Bill M. Because I did 75 laps on the balsa strop to refresh it, and then 100 laps on the leather. And boy, did it brighten this edge. This thing sang like crazy. And like I said, it ain't pretty, but it's the original. And of course, Pink Floyd, so the Pink Wedge. So that was the Philly 14 Sevillana. And alum, no sting whatsoever. And I have been using this this new balm that was given to me for Christmas by some friends of mine. And it's not even a shaving type balm. It's just all organic. It's called Thrive. And it's really nice. And it emulsifies really great on the face. And I've been using this along with the Witch Hazel. And if you look at my face, I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, I am 177 years old. So, you know, that, if nothing else, you use A&E soaps, especially the Pink Floyd one, and you get magically transported. And when you're 177 years old, look how good it is. And no, I'm not on mushrooms. No, I'm kidding. But it works fantastically. So let that sit for a few seconds while we clean off the brush. And then for our witch hazel today, we're going to be using Quinn's lavender because there is a lavender component. I don't have the fragrance notes. Peter, I'm sorry. I don't have the fragrance notes handy for this video. However, you can look it up. And it's basically Which One's Pink. And it is a tribute to Pink Floyd. And it really fits. Like I said, you could have renamed this soap Great Gig in the Sky or Wish You Were Here. Umaguma. Actually, Umaguma would have been kind of neat. But yeah, anyways. The brush today, we use the Matt Druder Pink Floyd brush. It has been renamed with a black AMAX synthetic. And I don't know where it goes. We'll put it there for right now. And then we're going to switch it up a little bit. Just wonderful. For the aftershave, again, we're going to be using Which One's Pink by Peter and the good folks at Ariana and Evans. There's, you know, like I said, you can't, this is a hard one to describe. It's funky. There's no doubt about that. It's funky. It's psychedelic. But man, I mean, it's the type that you sit there and you put a couple of drops in your hand and you're like, yeah, that smells pretty good. Oh, let's do more. So that's what's cool about it. So we'll let that dry down for just a few minutes. And for our talc today, we wanted to go as neutral as possible because we are going to enjoy the Which One's Pink. We're going to be using Yardley Gentleman. And this is just basically a classic talc scent. And you know, the one thing people have been asking about talcs can actually enhance the fragrances that you put on your face. Why? Because let's face it, talc is talc, and it's got small little particles, and those particles can absorb the fragrance that that you put on, so it can actually make it last a little bit longer too. So even though I don't think there is any fig at all in Which One's Pink, in fact, I'm almost positive there's not, I was searching for a fragrance to use for today, and it turns out that Ferrari Noble Fig is perfect. I mean, when you smell it, it smells almost like the soap. So we're going to be using that. So, I mean, and really, when you think about it, Ferraris and Pink Floyd, what could be better? So that's it, folks. I hope, Bowtie RN, I hope that helped you. And anybody else that's looking into starting to hone. I am no expert by any means. I just use what's for me. And again, for those people that use Naniwa and Japanese stones, hey, fantastic. I've never used them, so I won't speak on them. But all the modalities that we spoke of today, I have used, and I can say they work. So anyhow, thank you so much for joining us on a Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and actually happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And that would be the male version of the mother. You get it. Anyhow, this has been Barber Dave. This has been Barber Dave's Barbershop at Home. Come see us at the Cadre, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Oh, and before I forget, thank you so much for all the comments. I've been doing, since I only do my my shaves Sunday, Monday, Tuesday on video, I've been putting kind of a community blog on what I do the rest of the week, and the response has been fantastic. So I want to thank everybody for that. Keep on subscribing, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.